Hey everybody, welcome to Friday PM. Luigi Scarcelli here. We are here in the desert of Maine. I have not been to the desert of Maine, probably maybe when I was a kid. Awesome site though. These guys suggested it because they've got a great event upcoming. But I wanted to learn a little bit more about these gentlemen. It's Dave and Dave, right? Sometimes maybe David.
I'm Dave.
Yes, Dave.
I'm David.
And he's David, all right. And both
we do have last names too.
We do have last names. Well, it's up to you. Both these gentlemen are part of a men's group, men's team. You guys have an event coming up. We're going to talk about that a little later on.
Yep.
But I just wanted to get the viewers a chance to get to know you guys a little bit. So, Dave, you Mainer yourself?
Well, I was born and raised in Waltham, Massachusetts, and now I've lived in Maine forever, though, since 1985.
Okay,
Yeah.
That is a long time.
Yeah,
right?
It's a long time.
Yeah, it's like each year goes by, you think of 85, like, oh, you know, it was because we remember it so vividly, but that's like 40 years ago, probably.
Yeah, and I've lived on and off other places, but generally speaking, I came to Portland, and I'm like someone like an immigrant to the United States. I like Portland more than Portlanders like Portland.
Yeah, exactly. Right. Yeah. Well, if you live somewhere else, you can really appreciate it even more. Yeah,
totally.
exactly.
That's why I fell in love with the town. You know, in the mid '80s, when similar to it is now, a lot of the stores are boarded up on Congress Street and stuff like they are now, but I could tell this is a great place, great people. It's just a good atmosphere and just a great town to live in.
Yeah, you picked an interesting time, exactly, because I grew up here, moved here about 1980 when I was a kid. Yeah, and Congress Street was pretty rough. The old port wasn't too great either.
It was coming up by the time I got there.
It was coming up, and by the time of 2010s, I mean, it's got really great in Portland. Yeah. And David, you're also from Maine? Or
No, I'm just 3 years into living in Maine.
Okay.
I live right down the street from here, the desert of Maine. I grew up around New York City, lived in Queens for 20 years, raised my kids there, fell in love, moved up here to be with the person I love, and I had started a whole new life. Honestly, the middle of my life was starting over up here in Maine, and I've met some amazing people, and I have a very full, rich life, and part of it is this man right here.
Yeah.
God bless you.
And we'll talk about if you met through the group that you're in or otherwise. But yeah, Queens is definitely, I mean, that's coming up a lot as well. I know Brooklyn, a lot of places, they're really becoming younger, hipper, but it's probably great. Once again, we were talking before this about my dad moved out of Pittsburgh in the 60s. It's never a bad thing to get out of the city. I mean, the cities seem like they're fun for a certain point in your life, which I generally think might be like in your early 20s when you want to go out, single, meet people. But it's not a great place all the time to have kids and have a family. You probably enjoy
me and my ex-wife stuck it out. She's still there. My son still lives with her, and I go back all the time to see them. Yeah. My son comes up here too, but it's Jackson Heights, a very residential area, so you don't feel like you're in the middle of the city. It's pretty quiet at night, and I feel proud to have these like New York City kids. Like they're very worldly and
street smart.
Exactly.
Yeah, I mean, we do think of New York, and we think it's all like that downtown, but it's like every other city. There's kind of different parts of it that aren't as like Manhattan or something.
Totally.
So when you moved here, the group that you're in, it's a men's group.
That's right.
So when you moved here, how did you find your way to this group, or?
Yeah, I found some pickup basketball games because that was an important part of my life in Queens. I knew I needed some basketball up here. I happened to go to a game that Dave was playing in. I said, "Who's this guy? He seems kind of scary." Yeah. And yet afterwards, he was the friendliest man there, and he starts talking to me. How you doing? Within 5 minutes, I mentioned, I go to Queens sometimes to see my son. He says, I used to live in Queens, and so we had that in common. Then it was like, oh, so you're divorced? Yeah. Do you have any men up here to talk to? Yeah. Not really. So that just kind of started things. And then, before we had coffee a few times, he started telling me about this group. And I had actually, I've done a lot of this kind of work. I've done all kinds of, recovery programs back in New York, and I've been in men's circles, and I've done kind of men's retreat weekends. But so I knew I wanted something like that in my life up here. So this kind of just landed in my lap.
Landed in your lap.
Yeah.
And so the group that you guys are members of, this men's team, the website, it almost seems like an anagram, or is there, what's
Yeah,
the,
it's just a moniker that we came up with that
okay,
we tell. There's a supposed meaning to it that we tell if you join the team. We tell you what it means, but
yeah,
it's just a little ritual
It's
that
like
little
we
a
have.
secret
ritual,
handshake.
secret handshake.
Yeah, you got
Okay.
it.
We
You
go
got
by
it.
COMOFU. That's the name of it.
Yeah,
COMOFU.
yeah. Okay, okay. And so there is an event coming up that we want to make sure to promote. We'll talk about it in depth throughout the interview. But when is that, and who's invited to it? What should we know about that?
Well, working backwards, everybody's invited. It's
Okay.
a family type event.
Yep.
We have a band called the Prof Tones, which a man, Michael Wingfield, who was on COMOFU for many years,
Yep.
he's the drummer, and it's a bunch of professors from around here.
Oh, okay.
And they play cool music.
Yeah,
And
yeah, yeah.
and the whole idea is to raise funds for Maine Needs. Do you know what Maine Needs is?
I do not know,
Okay.
but I'd like to.
Oh, I'm happy to
Yeah.
tell you about it because
Sure.
I freaking love Maine
Yeah.
Needs because
Okay.
it's when you get SNAP or food stamp type stuff, you can buy you can buy food and this and that, but what you can't buy is things that people need every day, like diapers or razors or tampons and all that sort of stuff, and also certain items of clothing and this and that. Maine Needs just works tirelessly to make sure that everybody has everything they need. And all the money that you put into them goes straight through because they're on some sort of grant program or something. So it's awesome, and they take care of the community. And the other organization that we take care of is called Good Shepherd Food Bank,
Good
and most
Shepherd.
people know what that
Right.
is. And
Yep.
it's just
Yeah.
feeding people that need it, and more people need to be fed because of the way things are right now.
Yeah.
You know.
Yeah. So the fundraiser is called Christmas in July.
Okay.
We raise funds through this party. We also have a raffle. We sell $20 raffle tickets. You can win $2,000. We're only selling 400 of them.
Yeah.
And then there's also a GoFundMe on our website. And then, yeah, people can come to the party. It's $5, $10 for a plate of food, bouncy houses, lawn games. It's going to be just a fun live music,
Yeah,
good food.
exactly. Something
Yeah.
that people like to do, especially in the summer.
Yeah.
Totally.
Now,
It's nice property.
Yeah.
And it's really nice.
And did you say where it's taking place at yet, or
Yeah, it's on Longfellow Road.
Longfellow
It's
Road, okay.
in Gorham.
in Gorham? Yeah.
Yeah, and it's kind of like on the Gorham Westbrook line
Yeah.
near Wasomsky Springs and all that.
Sure.
But you can see it on the website.
People
right?
should go to the website. Yeah,
Yep.
comofu.org.
Okay.
COMOFU.org.
Yeah.
And that will have info about the party. And then also you could just donate to the
Donate.
to the GoFundMe or buy a raffle ticket that way. A lot of ways to support it. And again, it's Christmas in July because we're raising money now for Christmas time for
Okay.
these families. We actually know certain families in need ourselves, and we give them direct presents and food. And we also support these two organizations.
Okay.
Yeah.
So, as the group itself, are you guys? Is this something that's a private group, or do you? Can people join as well? New members? So men's only.
Yeah, a little bit about that
Yeah.
is the idea behind having a men's group is because in today's culture and society, it's really easy for a man to almost feel alone or isolated in the world. There's very few fraternal organizations that aren't some sort of mission driven around recovery, say, or religion and that sort of thing. And it's just the way I always tell a man, like I told you when we met you, it's a place where men talk about stuff that's not news, weather, and sports.
Yeah.
Stuff. It's about the man you always wanted to be. It's about being the man you always wanted to be, being honorable, and how we initiate a man into it is we do this weekend, which is this awesome weekend that I did many, many years ago in 1991, February
Wow,
1991.
okay.
And I did it just 1 year ago. So
all
we have
right.
two
Yeah,
different
exactly.
experiences.
Right.
Yeah, and that's a part of what we do is where the man does this weekend, and you go through a lot of really personal, intense stuff. It's just a manufactured weekend that we do and we produce. It's all volunteer. It's a not-for-profit type of thing.
Yep.
And the men get so much out of it. For instance, David did it. I did when I was 28 years old, and I'm 63 now.
Okay.
And yet, to me, I went there to understand relationships with women better because back in my 20s, I was miserable in relationships with women. I'd have, I just didn't know how to be in them. And so I knew that weekend provided that sort of experience in counseling or whatever it is that, however you want to say it.
Yeah.
But what I really got out of it was, oh yeah, I didn't have anybody in my men. I had people that were work casual work guys or my girlfriend's, boyfriends, their
Right.
friends' boyfriends or whatever. But I didn't have men that I actually just trusted,
Right.
Yeah.
and like I did when I was where I grew up, or even my family, my brothers. I have two brothers, and I love them and trust them, but they live far away.
Yeah.
So
Right,
what do you do? And
Yeah.
and when I found this, over time, I realized, wow, this is really important and vital work for men, because I see men that are on the brink of things because they don't have anybody to talk to about something really important that could lead to divorce or bankruptcy or whatever it is, and they feel alone, and then they try to talk to the wrong people about it,
Yeah.
and it's really hard to navigate through life without a sort of a fellowship of men that you can trust.
Yeah, and I think
And anyway, it was just that's
Yeah.
well, it's I think a lot of people look at that as sometimes you may have tried too much to find friendships in your relationships versus being able to have outside friendships. There's a lot of people that talk about that. That's like you need to have outside friends outside of your relationship.
outside of your relationship,
with the
your
woman.
significant other.
Yeah, exactly, or
Yeah.
significant other.
Yeah.
That because if you don't have that, you get caught up in too much of it. You
Yeah.
need to have other people to talk to, and I mean they talk about you just need to have a life basically
Yeah,
because
yeah.
then some of the women you're with, if you're just always hanging around with them, they don't like that
Yeah.
either. You know what I mean? It's like that,
Yeah, yeah.
it's good to have something else to do and people to talk to.
Yeah, and this is a little different because we're actually not just a group of friends hanging out shooting the breeze or whatever. It's like there's some discipline and work to it.
Yeah.
And this is a group that, again, we're not friends. We don't hang out outside of it necessarily. Some of us do, but we hold each other accountable for, who we say we want to be. And we make sure it's like we check in with each other. Remember that thing you brought up last week? How's that going? And
Okay. Yeah.
we don't define for someone who they want to be.
Yeah.
We take your word on it. Who you want to be.
Right.
And to answer your question about people can come try a meeting.
Yeah.
It's open in that way. We just need to know in advance, and we want lots of men to join. And then, if you wanted to join the team, you would go on this initiation weekend, and then we would talk about that later. But
And you guys meet every week? Or?
Yeah, we meet every Wednesday night except for tonight.
Yeah, you're meeting me here instead.
Yeah.
And where is there a designated place, or do you guys try to meet at like a restaurant to eat? And
no, it's the same place as
Same
we're having the
place.
party.
Okay,
It's
yeah.
one of the men's backyard.
And so you've been in this group. You said 30 years. Did you
Over
just say
30,
over
since
31
1991,
years?
so.
And you're new to the group. So
Yeah.
what's the kind of age group of people and the men in the sense that not necessarily their age in years, but that there's the people that have been there as long as you, somewhere
longer.
in the middle. Yeah. Okay.
It's men in the middle.
Yeah.
I mean, it's just a diverse. It's men.
Yeah.
And so it's just there's a real special thing for me personally
Yeah.
that it's just a men's group, and a lot of people from the outside might look at it like, oh, it's exclusionary, no women allowed, no, but it's just the men's group, and there's a certain dynamic when it's just men in the place. It's not anti-woman. It's not anti anything.
Yeah.
All it is pro men to be able to be in a safe place to express themselves, because men understand men.
Yeah.
There's a difference between men and women, and bottom line is that a lot of times our communication is better understood by someone who's just like you.
Yeah. And to me, I'm a very layered, complex person, and I've done a lot of psychology and a lot of these recovery groups and things, very introspective. I do think of myself as like feminist in a way. I'm very, but there's a certain almost theatrical element to me about the weekend and about even the group. There's these rituals, and there's this like kind of getting into character and getting that fire going from the men. And then when I go out the rest of my life, I feel that, and I can't get that in other places.
Yeah. Well, just for clarification, this isn't affiliated with AA, or it's not recovery. It's not religious. This is just it's a group of men that are, like you say, learning from each other and working together. A lot of times, people, because you mentioned recovery, a lot of times because there is a lot of that men's groups within AA and things like that too. Yeah.
And there's a good reason for it.
Yeah.
Because if a man's in recovery and he's with other men, maybe he can open up more.
Yeah, exactly. Right. Mm-hmm. I mean, it even goes back to the idea of separation of men and women as kids in schools, because, if you need to focus on just the studies, I mean, I think that's a lot of Catholic schools. I didn't go to one. I went to a smaller school but that's, you know, I mean, there's certain ways that take out the distractions to try to focus on what's important. Do you guys find different roles within the groups that each of you play, you know, mentors and things like that, or it just always fluctuates?
Yeah, it does. There's leadership positions and they do all rotate. So it is kind of democratic in that way. There's no cult of personality. There's not one dude running the show or anything. It switches up.
And most of the meetings are just talking and stuff?
Yeah, there's a, I don't know, how much do we
Well, the meetings are confidential.
All right.
But that's okay. The reason being is just so that a man can, you know, say what he needs to say or do what he needs to do. And we do it in a safe place. When you mentioned earlier that, you know, do we meet at a restaurant and stuff? We don't want to meet at a restaurant. We want to meet around a fire. And, you know, and in the winter, a real nice guy who owns a Dragon Fire martial arts out on Route 1. He respects what we do, and he knows that what we're doing is making better citizens and that sort of thing. So he lets us use his space in the winter.
That's awesome.
Which is awesome, this dojo with
exactly right.
Soft floors, so we can cause a lot of havoc there.
And you guys come to the desert of Maine sometimes too here in the summers, or occasionally?
We did one little event,
one time,
one-off thing.
It's really cool. I haven't been here in a while. Well, let's try to promote this event, because I know that's what you're here for, especially, is to talk about. So can you tell the folks again, website, where the event takes place, how to, you know, get other people to go, because a lot of people out there are going to be interested and curious, and they want to learn more about it. The
best thing to do is just to go to comofu.org, COMOFU.org. That'll have information about the party. We can get a ticket. It's July 20th. It's 2 to 6 p.m., $5 entry, $10 plate of food. You can also buy a raffle ticket online or at the event, $20. You could win $2,000. And then we have a GoFundMe that anyone who just wants to donate directly. And again, every penny of that goes right to these groups, either directly to families in need around Christmas, or the food bank, or Maine Needs.
And just for the people who like music a lot, what type of style of music are these guys that are the professors?
They call themselves the most eclectic band in Portland.
I saw that on the website. So that could mean a lot of things.
No,
rock and roll, though, maybe.
Yeah, kind of rock and roll based,
cool,
sure.
But you never know, maybe Stephen King will show up and play with them. Remember, he plays with a lot
of I remember
like
that.
Professors and things.
He played with a bunch of authors.
Exactly.
That's right.
If he's watching, he's welcome. Come on
down. If you're watching, you're welcome to join us.
Sure.
Well, I want to thank you guys so much. I appreciate it. I will probably be checking this out myself on the 20th.
Oh, I'd love to have you.
Yeah.
And come to our men's group.
I will. Thanks again. We'll be right back right after this. Thanks, guys. I appreciate it.
Thanks, Luigi.
Thank you.
The sun setting, the sand between your toes, the perfect moment. You take a step, feeling the warmth of the day fading into night. Just you, the waves, and large space debris. Beware of falling Russian rockets while on the beach in Key West. Sponsored by the Beach Council of America.
To give your heart a song to sing, and then kiss for more than this. I wish you and in July, a lemonade to cool you in. So leafy gray, I wish you health, or more than wealth. I wish you love. My breaking heart and set you free. I wish you could shelter from the storm, a cozy fire to keep you warm. But most of all, when snowflakes fall, but most of all, when snowflakes fall, but most of all, when snowflakes fall, I wish you love.
In the spring, sun and agony, a kiss for the best. I wish you love.
I wish you love. I wish you love. I met somebody on the way in and we were talking about moving back home, so this is kind of like that.
Where's your home, dear?
All over the place, but this is back home. This is back home for me. Came here to this city long time ago, when I was young and looking for fun, many places to go. Somehow I got a good job and I got some money saved up in the bank. But that don't stop me from thinking about warm, sunny summer country days. I remember all those things, hanging on to the old rope swing. Ran to my mother when I got stung by swarm of bees I couldn't run. Play with the neighbors till they got late, kicking a can to 17 lane. Oh, I remember all those things. Never say I'm sorry for crying out to sea, but the grass is always greener. I see it's greener on the other side. And all the hustle and the bustle and all those pretty city lights, that don't stop me from thinking about a warm, starry summer country night. I remember all those things, hanging on to the old road swing. Cried to my mother when I got stung by a swarm of bees I couldn't outrun. Oh, playing with the neighbors till they got late, kicking the can to 17 days. Oh, I remember all those things. I remember all those things. All right, thank you very much. That was a blast. It's fun to play with you guys. Thank you.
Anyway.
Seattle.
Way to win